Scrappy friends, and a big welcome to my channel today. So today is Sketchy Sunday number 15, I think. We'll run with that because I'm not sure. Anyway, I showed you the sketch right at the beginning of my video here. This one is for the Traci Reed Digital Designs Digital's design team. My goodness me. And I am using, this is an older kit from the store. It is called Sickday, and it was perfect for these photos that I want to scrapbook of my youngest child. Now, I will start out by saying the photo that ends up on the far left-hand side of this page without the bandage, there is an open cut on his foot. So bandage. There is an open cut on his foot that I do start out with a post-it note covering the blood. I do realise that not everyone probably wants to see that. So I did leave a post-it note over the top of that. When he came out to have a look at what I was doing, he saw the band-aids that I have cut and he was like, "Mum, you should put one of those on there." So I do end up putting one of those cross band-aids over where the cut is. Again, I realise most of you probably don't want to see that, so yeah. What I have done though is I have printed a whole bunch of the pattern papers, and I printed them I think in 2-inch strips, and then I have cut them into random sized strips from there. I've also cut a bunch of the embellishments that I thought worked perfectly. Now, this kit has lots of like actual sick day things, not just ouch I hurt myself things. So I pulled out what I knew I could use, and that's what I'm running with today. My child, so I'd actually gone out this particular night this happened, and I got a text message I think from my husband saying, "This is what Hunter's done to his foot." And yes, he warned me, and then I said, "Send me a photo, I want to see how bad it is." And this photo on the left hand side is one that he sent me, and it was just, I think, just before school went back, I want to say, I think. So that was definitely an interesting couple of days. It had healed enough that he was able to wear shoes and socks and keep it clean all at the same time, which was good. But as you can see, in typical child style, we have a full bandage on our foot. He stood on something sharp shortly after we had the spa done, but the fencing wasn't quite finished off. I think he stood on like the end of the fence or something, so it looked really painful actually. He managed it really well though, bless his little cotton socks, poor thing. So like I said, I cut a bunch of the pattern papers at for like 2 by A4 height inch strips. You can see I've cut them all down. I then picked another, I think, 4 patterns, and I've printed those so that I've got an A5 sheet of those 4 different patterns, which I've layered behind the photos. I've used the pinkish coloured grid one and then the blue one behind the journaling card. And you saw that I laid everything out on my page to get a pretty good idea of where it was going, including all these paper strips. So as you can see, I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I have torn the ends of all of these strips just for a little bit of extra interest. I did want to add like some interest because they were all tearing really straight. I'm like, that's not what I want. It's too neat. I did work out that if the strip was thicker, it was much easier to tear it as not a straight line. But I do get there in the end. I think I only leave those 3 in, and then I glued down to where that middle line is, I think just before the green one on the right. And then I decided I was going to come back in from the left-hand side just to make sure that I didn't run out of room or anything like that. I wanted the ends to be a little bit loose because I wasn't 100% sure exactly what I was going to do here. So I've run some Scotch tacky glue up the middle of each strip. Not quite all the way because I didn't want it 100% stuck down all the way. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to finish this off. Then I've just stuck each of those down. They're relatively straight. I think that Band-Aid one next to that blue one I just stuck down is, I don't think that one's cut 100% straight. So if the lines aren't straight, I think it's that one, I think. But I decided I was just going to leave it and run with it. I've got those all stuck down, just trim the top of that off now. And I'm going to place everything back on here. I've added some cardboard behind my photos and my journaling card. At this point, my son still has not come in. I think it's a bit cute, really, that he wanted me to put a Band-Aid on. So in the sketch, there is 4 2.5-inch square photos. I kind of went, what am I going to do with this? I don't use little photos like this, and I certainly don't have 4 from something. So I did improvise there. But other than that, I have stuck pretty true to the sketch, I think. You can see I've got my title down the bottom there. That ouch is part of the digital kit, and then there's, I think, 3 different coloured alphas in the kit, and I have obviously spelt out the words "that hurts." And what I'm doing here is I know where I want all my embellishments to be. I also know I want to add some stitching to those strips, which is also in the sketch, but I want to make sure that I've got everything exactly where I want it but before I lay everything out on the page permanently. So all I'm doing is adding the pieces on top of the photo that I can add. I'm using different dimensional tape to add them. And here I've done my stitching. You can see that in the background. I've used a cream thread. For each of the lines that I've done it twice and added a zigzag the second time. And I've added pop dots and tape to my title, and yeah, so now I'm going to stick my photos down. Because of the nature of this layout, I did want to add a little bit of this gauze. I've just cut a couple of pieces. I'm going to stick one behind each of the photos, and you can see I've got that Band-Aid taped onto the photo now. It is just using my little blue tape runner. I can't remember what it's called, but that tape is, it's not repositionable, but it is if you don't smush it, like if you don't make it stick really hard. Maybe that sounds silly. But I'm just sticking my photos down. I think I've added my journaling. No, I haven't yet. Making sure everything is straight, using my T-square ruler. Sorry for my head. You can see I've got a Band-Aid and two little round tablets in each of those clusters. I thought they worked really well as Panadol, and I kind of layered those up in my silhouette software and then had my Cameo cut them out. That little person with the little, they're lightning bolts, but it's quite clear to me that they're ouch symbols, because what else would they be? I thought he was really cute, and I like that pop of that brighter blue. I've used tabby pop dots for the That Hurts, perfect size. Got my little guy to circle the 10. I was like, I want you to tell me, buddy, out of 10, how much did it hurt? Just showing you here that I'm going to add my journaling in, and here we go. I'm showing you again that everything is stuck down. Got my journaling in. Showing you again that he did that himself. And you can see a little bit of the mess he made of his foot. This is one of the last things that I add to this page. So I did print out a bunch of these stars. I think I did 6 in each colour. So I did 2 of each of the 3 sizes in all 5 colours. I end up using these kind of aqua-y colour ones. And I put 3 of those onto each photo. You can see I'm kind of mimicking where they are on the 2 photos, and then I'm going to use, I think, the gold colour ones, maybe, I can't remember. I'm just tucking them in where I'm happy with them, mucking around with it a bit, you know. I've said this 100 times, got to get that placement exactly right. So I've got 3 there, and then I decided I was going to add in a couple more just on that vertical. Tuck that in there. You can see I'm counting them because I don't want an even number. And I'm just going to go in, put a little dab of my Scotch tacky behind it. Show you where I'm up to again. I really like how this page came out. Different, and even Hunter is happy with it. I felt like I wanted to lift everything a bit more because I'm working on the black cardstock, and this is not a white collection, it's more of a cream collection. I wanted to add some white splatters, so I'm just using my white India ink for that. I started with just using the nozzle from my little bottle, then I'm coming in with a paintbrush because I feel like that's more effective. I have discovered that when I use my white ink on the things that I print at home, I get some really interesting effects. It does kind of take a little bit of time for that to happen. So sometimes you can see it in my photos and sometimes you can't. It just depends on how soon after I've done my splatters I take my photos. But yes, it's definitely an interesting effect. Adding a few more splatters. Then I'm going to give you another close-up video of the finished page. Here you go. And then the sketch, and then all of my photos. So make sure you pop over to the Traci Reed blog, because all of us that are playing along today are playing along with this sketch. I love seeing how everyone interprets sketches so differently. I think they're a great starting off point. If you do share, if you do use the sketch as inspiration, make sure you tag in Traci and myself, especially if I've helped inspire you. I hope I have inspired you, and thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you in my next video.